Presenting to you in this video are 9 upcoming movies of 2021 that are sure to give everyone, especially Marvel fans, something to look forward to throughout the year. Number 1, WandaVision. Releasing in January 2021, WandaVision is ready to kickstart a whole new era for the Marvel Studios, and, judging from the trailers, it promises to be the weirdest Marvel project yet. Elizabeth Olsen returns as Wanda Maximoff, or Scarlet Witch, and Paul Bettany returns as Vision. After the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, Wanda and Vision are finally living low-key and happy lives, in a simple suburban town. The two host dinner parties with their neighbours. Wanda is pregnant with twins, and everything is simply blissful. There is just one problem though: Vision died in the Infinity War. The film appears to be a loose adaptation of Marvel's House of M storyline from the comics, which will open up a world of endless possibilities for upcoming movies and TV shows. Now that they are reintroducing the multiverse and alternate realities, there is really nothing they can't do storyline-wise. A lesser-known fact is that just like many classic sitcoms, WandaVision was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Number 2, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. After the premiere of Captain America Civil War, fans joked that there should be a comedy starring Bucky Barnes, aka Winter Soldier, played by Sebastian Stan, and Sam Wilson, aka The Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie. The love-hate relationship showed elements of competitiveness with hilarious bickering, injecting a heavy movie with some much-needed comedic relief. Seems like Marvel agreed with fans, because The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was greenlit in the studio's first batch of Disney Plus shows. The movie will revolve around Bucky and Sam teaming up together in the wake of Avengers Endgame. Sam is struggling with self-worthiness of Captain America's shield, while Bucky is hoping his Hydra-brainwashed head is back on track. The two try to fill in the shoes of their friend, Steve Rogers, but they are faced with new threats and old foes in the form of Zemo, played by Daniel Bruhl. And just in case you thought that this would prevent Sam and Bucky to stop bickering like an old married couple, the trailer shows the opposite. This awaited film is releasing in March 2021. Number 3, Morbius. Releasing in March 2021, Morbius is the second Sony movie based on a Spider-Man villain, with the first being 2018's Venom. Jared Leto stars as Michael Morbius, a brilliant biochemist with a rare blood disorder. In his desperation to find a cure for his disease, he ends up being his own guinea pig. He accidentally infects himself with a form of vampirism, instead of curing his disease, turning himself into the living vampire. Michael, as Morbius, has superhuman speed and agility, bat-like ability of echolocation, and an insatiable thirst for blood. The Morbius trailer makes it seem as though Sony will be taking a more sympathetic approach to telling Morbius' story, instead of portraying him as a two-dimensional villain. A hint that we have gathered is that there will be a Sinister Six, a Sony-Marvel crossover movie. Adrian Toomes, or Vulture, from Spider-Man Homecoming, shows up at the end, and they are undoubtedly scheming. Number 4, Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, has been the glue that has held the Avengers together. Fans have been waiting for a movie with Natasha for a while now, and they are getting one, even though only after Black Widow tragically died in Avengers Endgame. Black Widow, releasing in May 2021, is set in an earlier part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, between the events of Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. In this film, Natasha travels back to her homeland, Russia, to explore the mysteries of the Red Room in which she was brainwashed and trained. During her journey, she reconnects with her first family, Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, Melina Vostokov, or Iron Maiden, played by Rachel Weisz, and Alexei Shostakov, or Red Guardian, played by David Harbour. They come together to take down Taskmaster, the man in charge of the Red Room and training new Black Widows. Taskmaster is almost unbeatable in hand-to-hand combat, owing to his gift of photographic reflexes, which means that he can memorize and perform complicated moves after seeing them once. The trailer gives the promise of a spy thriller, with the theme of family and sacrifice at its core. Natasha will finally get the send-off she deserves. Number 5, Loki. Just as we thought Loki was dead, and Tom Hiddleston was done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Avengers Endgame opened the door for him to return. 2012's Loki steals the Tesseract following the Battle of New York and escaping custody, after which he blips out of existence and into, well, we don't know where. He lands in the custody of the Time Variance Authority, a secret governing body charged with policing alternate timelines and realities and keeping things in order. The god of mischief with a tesseract that enables him to bend space is the TVA's worst nightmare, and it looks like they strike a deal with him to complete a job for them. In a loose adaptation of the Agent of Asgard comic book series, Loki has the ability to reset the MCU timeline, or even create a number of new ones. The trailer gives the answer to one of the greatest mysteries, that Loki was D.B. Cooper. Expect a ton of chaotic fun in Loki that is releasing in May 2021. Number 6. Venom Let There Be Carnage. 2018's Venom was a surprising hit for Sony, with $856 million at the box office. The reason for its success was that it didn't take itself seriously, and, instead, leaned into the comic books. Part of it was Tom Hardy putting on an epic manic performance, including climbing into a lobster tank in the middle of a high-end restaurant to quell a fever. And part of it was that fans were thrilled to finally get a comic book accurate version of the anti-hero on screen, after the unsuccessful attempt at putting Venom on the screen in 2007's Spider-Man 3. In Venom Let There Be Carnage, releasing in June 2021, Tom Hardy, again, takes on his role as Eddie Brock, a rundown reporter whose life changes when he is infected with an alien symbiote that bonds with him, turning him into Venom. As dangerous as Venom can be, the sequel promises the introduction of another Marvel character that's even more murderous, Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, a serial killer who becomes infected with his own symbiote and turns into Carnage, a malevolent killer who is an enemy of Spider-Man in the comics and the archenemy of Venom, who has been both enemy and ally to Spider-Man over the years. With Hardy and Harrelson, Venom Let There Be Carnage is sure to be a wild ride. Number 7. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. As the first of Marvel's 2021 movies to usher an entirely new character into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings promises tons of martial arts action, like that in Netflix's Iron Fist series, and mysticism, like in Doctor Strange. The movie will introduce Simu Liu to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Liu being cast not only for his acting skills, but also for his martial arts background, that will come in handy, as Shang-Chi is one of Marvel's master martial artists. Releasing in July 2021, the film will find Shang-Chi in an epic tournament, where the winner wins the legendary 10 rings, earning an immense amount of power. Imagine Mortal Kombat done Marvel style. Reports have indicated that the fight sequences in the movie will be incredibly detailed and elaborate, with everything from gritty, the raid-like hand-to-hand combat, to more mystical wuxia sequences that will include Shang-Chi's comic book ability to create clones of himself. Liu has already won fans over with his funny social media presence, and his excitement at being a Marvel superhero. This film definitely has the potential of being one of our favorite Marvel origin movies in years. Number 8. Eternals. Eternals is Marvel's second movie of 2021 to introduce new characters to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A brand new superhero team is what we are getting this time. Directed by Chloe Zhao, little to none is known about the film. The Eternals are an ancient race of alien, who have been living in the shadows on Earth for thousands of years, and have been shaping human events. Following the events of Avengers Endgame, however, an unexpected event forces the Eternals back into the spotlight to take on their ancient enemies, the Deviants. The cast is absolutely stacked, with Richard Madden as Ikaris, the leader of the Eternals, Angelina Jolie as Thena, Gemma Chan as Cersei, Salma Hayek as Ajak, Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo, Barry Keoghan as Druig, Brian Tyree Henry as Phastos, Lauren Ridloff as Macquarie, Leah McHugh as Sprite, Ma Dong-sok as Gilgamesh, and Kit Harington as Dane Whitman, aka Black Knight. From what we know, Cersei, an empathetic and human-loving Eternal, will fall in love with Dane Whitman, and their love story will power the movie. In November 2021, we get to see this new and powerful team in action in the MCU. Number 9. Untitled Third Spider-Man Movie. Releasing in December 2021, the third Spider-Man movie, a collaboration between Marvel and Sony, is set to change the landscape of superhero movies, the same way that Marvel Studios changed the game by modernizing the concept of the cinematic universe. Tom Holland stars as our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, only this time, Peter Parker is up against an entire team of villains. With Jamie Foxx as Electro and Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, making a comeback, and both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as their respective versions of Peter Parker or Spider-Man appearing. The third film seems to not only be setting up a Sinister Six storyline, but also a grand multiverse event, drawing from all three Spider-Man movies, with Holland's Peter Parker in the center. Owing to the end of the decade-long Infinity Gauntlet arc, with Avengers Endgame, fans thought Marvel would take their films back to a smaller scale. To our pleasant surprise, the fact is quite the opposite. Which of these movies are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you would like to see in the next video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. Don't forget to hit the notification bell icon to be notified about our upcoming videos.